Hi, good morning. Welcome to my Wednesday devotional and happy early St. Patrick's Day. Woo! That's why I'm wearing all the green shamrocks and a little more festive. We've been a little bit warmer around here. We're starting to get into warmer weather, my favorite. Woo! And it's spring. And usually St. Patrick's Day for me is like the hallmark for the warmer weather to start, and then spring is usually into March. So, it all works out. That's why it's my favorite holiday. And of course, another reason. But yeah, so I am celebrating already. I know it's a few days before St. Patrick's Day, or as I also like to say, St. Patty's Day. But some people like St. Patrick's Day, that's fine because it is his day. St. Patrick, actually, truthfully, it is a really great story, and I wish it was in the Bible so I could cover it. But, basically he's the patron saint, for Ireland, because the old folklore was that, he drove all the snakes out of Ireland, and I think snakes really means evil, and the report I did in the 4th grade was that the shamrock, he used to teach with the shamrock, the Holy Trinity, and if it's a 3-leaf clover. And so, but for me as an adult, when I learned about St. Patrick, it's a great story of how, even though he was enslaved, he was actually kidnapped from England and brought over to Ireland, and he was enslaved. And he managed to escape, get on a boat, go back to England. But when he was in England, the Lord really called upon his heart to not only become a priest, but to go back to Ireland and preach God's word to those that actually enslaved him and convert people to Christianity. That's tough. I think that is really something that people don't talk about when they think about St. Patrick. And really the theme of that is go back to the very thing that hurt you and be kind, be loving, and share Christ. Wow. That's why we have a holiday. But I know traditionally when I think of St. Patrick's Day, I think of green beer and the parades, and I think in Chicago they used to turn the water green, and Boston, I think, was a parade. I know over the years, all this different stuff, and corned beef and hash, and what else? Shepherd's pie is one I like. So now they say everybody on St. Patty's Day is Irish. I've got a little bit Irish. Actually, I do have a relative that is that was from Ireland in my genetic past on the Bush side. That's my mother's maiden last name, Bush. Woohoo! And so England's a lot of it, but I also have Norway. So yeah, I think that's I'm trying to look. I have it written down on my little board. Yeah. So yeah, Norway is the other one. So anyway, all right. Sorry I love St. Patrick's Day. And yes, my name is Patty with an I, P-A-T-T-I. Now, D-D would make a masculine version, but obviously I'm feminine. So, anyway, I hope you guys definitely have a great St. Patrick's Day, and you be safe. All right, speaking of heroes, let's talk about Esther. All right, so we are on Esther chapter 7, verses 3 through 4. And I'll recap with verses 1 and 2, and we'll talk about that, All right, so we'll recap. So Esther 7, verses 1 through 2. All right, so the king and Haman went to Queen Esther's banquet. On the second occasion, while they were drinking wine, the king again, so remember he said it before, said to Esther, "Tell me, what do you want, Queen Esther? What is your request? I will give it to you, even if it is half the kingdom." And now last week I discussed, what is this guy like, giving away half the kingdom here, half the kingdom there to, signet rings and all this stuff. You just give stuff away. Dude, do you want to be unemployed? If he gives away half the kingdom twice, he's offered it. That's the whole kingdom, dude. Maybe he just doesn't like his job. I don't know. Maybe he's just passive aggressive, and he just secretly wants to give it away because he doesn't want to be the king. You know, we hear those stories a lot where people don't want to be the prince, or they don't want to be the king. You know, there is that possibility. We don't know. Or he's now on the wine, so maybe he's just it's just being crazy just to be outlandish. You know, I don't know. But he's jealous of a lot of things. Remember in the beginning we talked about how the floor is got like jewels and stones in it in the cement, and these beautiful lavish curtains, and everything's you know, gold goblets, you know, just money and wine flowing everywhere, you know. So he's obviously got a lot of money, and we know he's got over 130 provinces or something like that. It was a huge number. So you know, he's just got a lot of land, a lot of wealth, a lot of territory. So maybe for him, have half the kingdom. That probably maybe meant from here to my wall. I don't know. You know, who knows? You know, in his world, in his mind, you know, like maybe it's small to him but large to us. I don't know. So so last week I asked the point. Well, what could she have done in this moment if Queen Esther had been someone who is not a good person, who's a bad person? When I said half the kingdom, all right, cool, I'm out, and take advantage of the fact that this guy's drunk and all out of wine, and you know, man, she could have just said sign here, you know, and have her attorney stamp it and sign it and saying okay, you know, and then we sobers up, hey, I got half the kingdom. I mean, that would have been something right out of Dallas or something, right? Some kind of gold digger scheme, you know. But we all know Esther's not like that, okay? So there is that moment. What would she do? All right, what is she going to do? Here we go. Verse 3. Queen Esther replied. Now, again, she didn't even, you know, talk about this half the kingdom thing. This is what all that she comes out of her mouth. This is good. If I have found favor with the king, and if it pleases the king to grant my request, because he's asking, what do you want? You know, here's my request. I ask that my life and the lives of my people will be spared. Again, she just completely ignored his very generous offer, you know, because she's not into the money or anything. All she cares about is that her life and the lives of her people be spared. Verse 4. For my people and I have been sold to those who would kill, slaughter, and annihilate us. And if we had merely been sold as slaves, I could remain quiet. You know, for that would be too trivial a matter to warrant disturbing the king. Wow. Okay, you know, we know how people feel in this country about slavery, right? So would any of those people stay quiet if they knew that they're just gonna be merely, I love it, interesting, merely been sold as slaves? Merely. Because, you know, to us in this day, 2024, you know, it's really scary. But and it should be really. But in those days, you know, being a slave just it was a small matter. And if you read in the Bible and other books, you know, there's certain commands for the slaves in your house, for example. Those are the words that are being used, not my words, you know. So slavery was more of a factual thing, you know, in the times of the Bible. So that's probably why she's so calm and saying, oh, if I had merely been sold, no problem. I wouldn't have even disturbed the king. Yeah, I know, I'm going blurry. Okay, there it goes. It does it automatically, so I don't have any choice. Okay, so, yeah, wow. You know, in 2024, I mean, we do hear about modern day human trafficking, and it's absolutely awful, you know, which makes you wonder, did that happen back then? And just amazing that she could be so calm. I think I'd be having a full-blown panic attack. But that's me. I've been used to being free, so, you know, I don't really know what's going on. You know, I don't know how to react in that situation, you know, but for me, yeah, I'd be having a panic attack. But yeah, she could stay quiet. Wow. So she's already kind of pointing out that the lives, you know, could be spared is number one. The slavery issue is a number two thing. That, hey, I could handle that, but what I can't handle is dying and all my people dying. Then that's where Queen Esther draws a line and says, I'm going to speak up, which is amazing, because that, of course, even today, that would be a very important issue, as we see genocide and stuff. So, absolutely, Esther is quite the hero, wow, so that's just like a boom, mic drop here, she's just laying it out there, hey, could you just spare my life and my people, and remember, my people, the Jewish community, huge. So we'll get into it more coming up next week, So wow, lots to think about. So what do you think about that? Please feel free to comment. This is a tough one. So anyway, and I know this video is getting long because I talked about St. Patrick. So we'll talk more next week about Queen Esther, as we are definitely getting into this is the hard nuggets now. We made the turn and now we're in it. Now she's laid it out there online. So we're going to find out how the king reacted, Oh, and of course, Haman. Remember, he's sitting right, Haman and the king are both sitting right there. And you imagine their mouths, probably, dropping with shock, my life and the people's life. Wait a minute. Queen Esther, are you Jewish too? So, wow. All right. Well, you guys have a great St. Patrick's Day. Please be safe. Please don't drink and drive, but definitely, I hope you guys have a great, fun, happy holiday. It'll be a Sunday anyway. So what a great day to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, right? And the life of St. Patrick. So, all right. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.